Welcome to our Italian Summer Shorts, a short series from amongst Romans to help you travel smarter, deeper, and cooler this summer. In the last episode, I talked about an Italian summer must-do, and that was going to the beach. Today, I'm going to tell you about another Italian experience you can enjoy on your trip, and that is the art of the aperitivo. Now, aperitivo doesn't have to be enjoyed in the summertime, but honestly, it just hits differently. So, if you are in Italy during the summer, I think an aperitivo is a must-do. So, what exactly is an aperitivo? So, an aperitivo is a social pre-dinner ritual that involves enjoying drinks and light snacks in the early evening. This typically takes place from, let's say, 6 to 8 p.m. And it's a time when people go out and socialize. They unwind, meet up with their friends, and it's like a relaxing time. So, while some compare it to happy hour, it's not quite the same. Happy hour usually means cheaper drinks and appetizers, while an aperitivo doesn't mean discounted drinks. So you might ask, well, what is it? The best way to explain it is that you go to a bar and order a drink. This drink then comes with finger foods, and those can range from things like olives and chips and nuts to more fancy arrangements, including cheeses, prosciutto, and like little sandwiches, whatever. So the word aperitivo comes from the Latin aperire, which means to open. So again, the idea is that you go for this pre-dinner drink and a snack, and it's a way to open up your stomach and get your appetite going before dinner. Now, I can honestly say that sometimes the aperitivo is filling enough that you might not want to have dinner right after. Italians tend to eat dinner late and they tend to eat a lot. So I think for them, this pre-dinner snack may be a way to do that. For me, it really doesn't. So if you're like me, you might want to space out your aperitivo and your dinner just so you are, actually hungry when you get there. Nonetheless, it's a great experience and one I think everybody should experience. So where does the aperitivo come from? The Romans had a similar concept of pre-dinner snacks and drinks, but the actual concept of what we know as aperitivo today originated in northern Italy at the end of 18th century and spread to the rest of the country. At that time, northern Italy was where industry was happening. There were a lot of different companies producing all these alcohols, so they thought, let's introduce them to the public. And really, they were behind making this a big cultural event and help them sell their alcohol too. Usually when you order a drink during the aperitivo time, you'll get a drink and those extras brought to you. So you don't have to order extra aperitivo, like it's implied. In some parts of Italy, they also have what's called an apericena, which is like a pre-dinner buffet style aperitivo. I've actually never been to the buffet style, and I think it's a good thing because I'm pretty sure I'll be too full to actually eat anything after that. But anyway, so apericena or the buffet style, tends to be a bit more expensive than your regular aperitivo because the food that you get with it tends to be a bit more plentiful. So again, we're talking more like cheeses, meats, cold cuts, that type of thing, which is more filling and a bit more fancy. So if you are in northern Italy and let's say you want to try this option, you'll see it. It's not something that is hidden. You'll definitely be able to see what's there and then you can decide whether it's for you or not. So how to enjoy the aperitivo? Again, you have to arrive at the cafe or bar between 6 and 8 p.m. and just order a drink. When the drink comes, they bring you the snacks and you get to enjoy them. So what should you drink? Well, there's different options for aperitivo. And again, they have everything from pure spirits. You can have gin and tonic. You can have Long Island iced tea I've seen. You can have really much anything. But really, if you are in Italy and you're going out for an aperitivo, you should try one of the local drinks. So again, one of the most popular is the spritz, and that could be either Aperol or Campari. And usually it's made with Prosecco and soda. For me personally, I prefer Aperol because Campari is too bitter for me. And actually, before I came to Italy, I didn't really enjoy Aperol. It was just way too bitter. But for some reason, in Italy, it tastes different. And now I'm a big fan. So when I make mine at home, I add a bit of a white wine to it, which makes it slightly different, but it's not the standard. So again, it's a personal preference. Another drink that you might want to try is the Negroni, which is gin, Campari, sweet vermouth. There's also Negroni's Sbagliato, which basically switches up the gin for Prosecco. So again, I don't like those because there's Campari in it, but if you enjoy that flavor, you can try those. Another drink you can try is the Americano, which is Campari, sweet vermouth, and soda. If you don't like any of those, you can always order a beer or a glass of wine or Prosecco if you're into that. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't always have to have an alcoholic drink. There is something called Crodino or fruit based cocktails, or you can also order just like Coke or whatever it is that you want. So you order this, the drink comes, you enjoy it. The whole point of aperitivo is to socialize. It's not a time to sit there and pound the drinks and eat all the food you can. It's not meant to be that. It's just meant to be like this short time in between dinner and work that you can meet up with your friends, you can unwind, and you wouldn't probably have more than like one or two drinks before you move on to dinner at home, right? Or dinner out. It's about opening your palate, relaxing after work, and socializing. Now, I would say if you're going to an aperitivo time and they have a buffet, don't treat it as an all you can eat. It's not meant to be that. You might think, well, it's included. I can just go up and get my plate full with stuff, which is not something that happens here. I wouldn't do that. Usually, the way it would work is whenever you order a drink, you can go and get some stuff on your plate. Like I said, you wouldn't have more than two drinks. So you shouldn't treat it like an all you can eat buffet when you just stuff your face and get drunk because that's not what this is. And Italians are not really into that. I know during happy hour, sometimes people go up and they have a few drinks and all the appetizers, and that's your dinner. Well, this is not meant to be that. So just keep that in mind. Again, where should you go to have an aperitivo? I would say anywhere. Especially during summer, you'll find bars, especially if you have rooftops where you are. In piazzas, there's different beach bars. Any bar that has patios and people sitting out there, it's a good place to go and try. And you'll see them. You can, when you walk by, see what people are having and say, I want this or I don't want it. There's different variations of drinks throughout Italy. I would say there's different types of spritz. I mentioned the Campari and the Aperol spritz, but they also have Hugo spritz, which comes from Trentino and has elderflower. Again, I don't mind it every now and then. That's not something I would have all the time. There's like Venezia spritz, there's some other spritz. There's different spritzes you can have, but again, depends on where you are and what they have. If you don't know what to try, you can always go with wine or beer, and you'll be good with that. One other thing I want to mention is that usually when you're in Italy, you can order a drink, and this doesn't have to be during the aperitivo time. And they will normally bring you some snacks with it. If it's outside the aperitivo time, you might just get chips in a bowl, olives or peanuts. That has been my experience. Sometimes if you go, let's say, early, like if you are in a bar, let's say 11 o'clock, it's again a little bit earlier. Some places, especially if you're in a restaurant, they're more likely to charge you extra for additional snackies. But again, those snackies will be more bruschetta with different cheeses or different grilled vegetables on top of that, as opposed to just olives. Usually you'll get a drink and some kind of addition with your order, no matter where you are, but it's not always guaranteed. So I would say don't expect to have the same kind of spread or guaranteed snacks when you go out for a drink outside the aperitivo hours, but it's not to say that you wouldn't. Like I said, they always usually think you need something to nibble when you're drinking, which is not a bad idea. So again, if you go outside the aperitivo, you might get a snack. It might just not be as plentiful as it would be during aperitivo time. I hope this makes sense. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the experience. If you are in Italy, I think it's something that isn't necessarily a big fancy thing, but can really help you slow down and enjoy the moment. especially if you're in a place with a great view, or in a historic town or a beach or a rooftop where you can enjoy the views, enjoy the moment, and have a drink to just, even cool down when it's hot. So, with that, I hope you enjoy your aperitivo when you come to Italy. And remember, don't overdo it and you'll be fine.